The last part of our unit is on half-life. Half-life is the time it takes for half of the atom or half of the amount to decay. So the nucleus is breaking apart into new nuclei. You can use the exponential decay formula that you learned in math class, or you can solve it the way that I'm going to show you today. If you are given two time values, and time being like seconds or minutes or days or years, you're going to divide them to find the number of half-lives, and then that's how many times you're going to take the amount and divide it by 2. If you're given two amount values, you're going to take the larger one and cut it in half until you reach the smaller one. That will give you the number of half-lives. Then you're going to determine if you were given total time or half-life, plug that value in and solve for the one that you're missing. So we're going to work out 3 examples. In this example, we have 2.4 minutes and 7.2 minutes. So we're given 2 time values. So we're going to divide those. 7.2 divided by 2.4 is 3. So there were 3 half-lives that took place. So then we're going to take our amount and we're going to divide it in half 3 times. So half of 100, 50, that's once. Half of 50, 25, that's twice. So one more time, half of 25 is 12.5. That's how much is left after 3 half-lives. Make sure that you divide it in half the same amount of times as the number of half-lives. In this example, we're given 2 amount values. So we have 120 milligrams and 2 milligrams. So we're going to take 128 milligrams and we're going to divide it by 2 until we reach 2. So half of 128 is 64. Half of 64 is 32. Half of 32 is 16. Half of 16 is 8. Half of 8 is 4. And then half of 4 is 2. So we went from the larger amount to the smaller amount. And then count how many times you divided by 2. So that took us 6 times. So there were 6 half-lives. And then we need to decide if the other value we were given is the total time, we'd put it on the top, or the amount or the time of each half-life, which we would put on the bottom. So the question says, after 24 days, 2 milligrams of the original 120 remained. So 24 then is our total amount of time. So we put the total time on the top, and then the question is asking us for the half-life, so we're solving for the bottom. So the first thing we do is multiply both sides by x. And then we divide both sides by 6. So x is going to be 4 days. So each half-life took 4 days. And then our last question, again we're given 2 amounts, 4 and 0.5. So we take the larger amount and we divide it in half until we reach the smaller amount. So half of 4 is 2, half of 2 is 1, and half of 1 is 0.5. So then we're going to count how many half-lives took place. 1, 2, 3. So we had 3 half-lives. And then we look and see what time value we were given. It says the half-life is 2 years. So this time we're putting the amount, the time on the bottom because that's the amount for each half-life. And then we're solving for the top. So we would multiply by 2 years on both sides. And x would be 6 years. So the total time is 6 years. Try the problems on the Google form and let me know if you have any more questions.